Hello and welcome. Welcome to Around the Town with Mark. I am Mark Whalen, your host, and we are always glad to have you tune in and visit with us. Around the Town with Mark and this studio, SEC TV in downtown Groton, are dedicated to community service, bringing you, our viewers, all kinds of information on all the things there are to see and do in our area that makes it such a great place to live, to work, and to play. Well, Around the Town with Mark has brought to you things on historic buildings, interesting people, community events, and well, this year we've got the Thames River Water Taxi we've shared with you, and of course, Connecticut's Submarine Century. Well, another very important component of any community is, of course, education. And that too comes in all kinds of different forms. Well, today we are going to be talking about the Lighthouse, which is a vocational education center in Groton dedicated to students with unique talents and needs. So allow me to introduce the executive director of the Lighthouse campus, Greene. Kathy, welcome.
Mark, it's so nice to be here. We've worked on so many things before, so this is a really nice chance to talk. I'm so glad I'm here.
Well, I'm glad you're here too, because I'm going to tell our audience out there that you're one of my favorite people. You are so dedicated to so many things in the community. I don't know how you find time to do them all. And you have been very supportive on, 3 of my committees?
Right.
Producing some of my events and then volunteering at those events. So I know that you're very dedicated to community service.
Absolutely, and very fortunate to have a business, a nonprofit business that is all community-based, because I think that's what's important. And that's why I think it also follows that I'm involved in my community. When I started the Lighthouse, it's almost 25 years ago, it was for the purpose of providing community-based functional academics and life skills, and our mission is to educate and prepare for life. So the reason was that all of us learn when we do hands-on projects, when we're in the community. And so for our students to learn something and then apply it in the community is so important, because they need all those baby steps to decrease their anxiety, increase their appropriate behavior. And then the other piece that's so important is our neighbors, being good neighbors. The more we're in the community and get to know the businesses near us, use the businesses, they get to feel comfortable with us and become advocates for not only our students, but for our programs. So it's a win-win for everybody. And then the more I'm in community-based organizations, volunteering, again, getting to know that our students have so many abilities and so many different levels of participation is so important to me. So
what I'm hearing from what you're saying right now is this is not just a strictly academic program. Mm-hmm. You're not just learning the ABCs. Your students are learning about life, mm-hmm. learning about skills to interact as they grow and as they nurture into the community, and learn the skills on how to maneuver themselves through life.
Absolutely, because just being in a classroom or a room, it makes no sense. There's no logical implications, no consequences. But if you go out and have to stand in line at a Dunkin' Donuts, then you have to learn patience, you have to learn how to wait, how to be with others. And it's very simple steps that we take for granted, but with a lot of repetition, it becomes a natural piece for our students and our adults. And that way, they're going to be in the community the rest of their lives once they get out of school at 21. So for decades, they have to know how to take care of themselves.
And something I would think is simple, thinking back of my growing up and learning in school, something as simple as social skills of knowing how and when to say please and thank you, mm-hmm. that not everybody today, as simple as that may sound, understands and has those basic skills.
Right. So again, our students, depending on their level and their abilities, some need more supports than others. We also have a transition academy for middle and high school students identified with high-functioning autism. They're quite bright, but the social skills are important for them. They really need to know how to say the appropriate phrase and not blurt out the first thing that comes in their mind, like
Right.
many of us would like to some days, but
Well, we all
having
know that there are times
yeah,
that
have a
we'd
little
like
more
to, but
diplomacy.
But of course, it's not always correct or proper or to your own benefit
Right.
to speak your mind.
Right.
And that, again, is a basic social skill that some people don't learn early in life.
Right, right. So we provide all those life skills, no matter where they're on the autism spectrum, or what type of disability, we provide all those for our young people with high functioning autism. We look at all the life skills they're going to need to get a job because they're quite bright, to get housing, to have a life in the community that's safe, so that they are prepared, because they're so bright that after 21 there is no real supports or funding for them. So they have to acquire a lot of skills before they hit 21 to be able to maneuver in the community easily.
Yeah, it's so often true that sometimes you do reach a certain age, and if your needs aren't at either one end, extreme end of the spectrum
Right.
or other, people forget about you.
Right.
And there isn't a program out there that you may need because you fall within that empty zone of
Right.
neither extreme.
Right. Yeah. That program I'm very proud of. We started that 11 years ago when no one was providing those programs for students identified with high functioning autism. And so for 11 years we've been working on all the skills needed. We now have a residential piece to that, so that they can acquire the skills of living with others, or maybe having a roommate eventually. How do you do that outside of your home? And then we have an after 21 housing piece for some of our young people, our young adults on the spectrum.
Let's talk a little bit about the nitty-gritty, about where you're located, how people that may be interested in the services that you have to offer find you, and what some of the requirements, be it age or any other economics, that they need to participate in the programs that you offer.
Well, we have 2 state-approved special ed schools that are located in Niantic, and one's on Main Street, one's on Pennsylvania Avenue. They're for ages 7 to 21. We have a special education director, we have special education teachers, teaching assistants, paraprofessionals, and these students sometimes are students that have more complex behaviors and need more supports in a more individualized setting. And usually they're referred from school systems, and parents can refer that they'd like to look at our program. Again, we have a website that will be on here shortly that is lhcampus.com.
Yep, there we go,
Yeah.
right there. Yep. Everybody, please take a look at that. Take a moment to write that down if you need the information.
Or you can email me, and I will refer you to our education director for those placements. And those students, we've had those programs for a long time. The state oversees all the programs. Every 5 years we have to be reapproved. We go through all the pieces that a public school goes through for the qualities for our teachers and all of our staff. So those are really important. Again, they're right in the community, so those students go out and learn how to maneuver a CVS, they learn how to go eat out someplace, they learn to go to a laundromat. And again, those are the skills you want them to generalize later when they are adults in their own communities, to be comfortable in another CVS or comfortable in another laundromat. We then have the Transition Academy that is for middle and high school students. We have social groups there, and we also have supports for residential, supports for Three Rivers if they go there, supports for life skills. We have a contract with Bureau Rehab Services to provide employment. And that particular campus, again, you can go on our website and look at the Transition Academy. It's called LaVecta, and see all the requirements for those students that are there, that are in that particular setting. And again, or you can email me and look at the program. We welcome people to come visit just to see, what they're doing, what they're working on, meet the staff.
Have an opportunity to tour the campus and,
Right.
and sort
Right.
of have a little bit of what the experience may be.
Right, and that again is a wonderful program, and it's constantly growing because the numbers of those on the spectrum are just growing all the time. I think Autism Speaks said by the end of this century there'll be 500,000 people, children and youth identified on the autism spectrum in this country. so I'm not sure where everybody's going to be going, but
Yeah.
that's just coming up at the end of the century. So I mean, and the decade. I'm sorry. And then we have our last program. Our fourth program is right here in Groton, in the Groton Shopping Plaza. That's our oldest site, and very fortunate to have Joyce Resnikoff as our landlord. She's the one that held this site and believed we should be right in the mainstream of a shopping center, which nobody had done before.
And that's right near the studios
Right,
where we are.
right.
Actually.
It's
Yes.
right next to between Wayne's Barbershop and the vacuum place. And
Right, which is near Benny's and the
Right,
post office,
right.
everyone, in case you're not quite sure of where that exactly is.
It's quite deceptive looking, but it's 7,500 square feet inside, and it has 18 and up of adults with developmental disabilities. And we have a pre-vocational program, we have a social day program, and they have an extended day. They stay there till 5 o'clock if some of them need that and parents are working. We have that respite services there. So that program is quite busy and active, and I'm very proud of, with all the state cuts coming up, this program has had 100% quality review rating from the state of Connecticut.
No, that's
Which is unheard of.
A tremendous accomplishment.
Yes.
And yes, you're right that budget cuts are everywhere, and they get kind of scary.
Yeah.
Especially for programs such as yourself.
Right, right.
Now, you mentioned that your students are aged 7 to 21.
In the school system,
In the
yep.
school systems. Now, is that if a student was to come in at 7, is it theoretical that depending on their needs, they can go through that program and the different aspects of the program up until 21?
Right.
So you guide them all through that entire period.
Right.
So it's not, you're not going for 1 year and then you're
No.
out. You can stay and move in that program.
Right, and if that's what the families and the school systems, everybody feels that this is good,
necessary.
beneficial for the student.
Right.
And then they can, even at 21, they can transition over here to Groton to this adult program if that is something that would be beneficial for them and everybody decides that would work. They can come over here to Groton. We try to keep all the sites designs in a similar way so that as you move through the different places, there's a comfort level for some of them to see that, oh, this is not too much different than the last place, so their anxiety isn't as high.
And it sounds like what you're also developing or helping develop is in these young people are young adults that are going to be able to be independent for themselves and independent perhaps of the social system and be able to function in society not just by at the Dunkin' Donuts, but also by maintaining a job and supporting themselves in their adulthood.
Right, right. Again, our mission is to educate and prepare for life, so it's really important for us to do that. And we do have some social groups in the evening that are for adults with high-functioning autism, and we also have social groups for adults with developmental disabilities. And so we offer those evening social groups. One of them was recently on the front page of the day, I believe in June, that's been around, I've had for 30 years. And this group has just grown from sophomores in high school to being in their middle age now, and have had a wonderful time meeting every Wednesday night for 30 years. And it's what you would want all peer groups to have, you know, as we have friends and peers that we catch up with all the time. These are the same young people doing this also, so.
Is there programs, I know you want to talk about some of the events that you have coming up. Are your students also involved in producing some of these events? So are they then involved in community service as well as part of this program?
And again, community service has always been a part of our programs. We have had students on a weekly basis take things, items that are needed, say futures if they need something, or collect food for a food bank. And coming up September 10th, we also we're a sponsor of a co-ed venturing crew for Boy Scouts, and these young men are on the autism spectrum. And one of them is doing his Eagle Scout project, which I think are so important in this country, what they've done in Eagle Scouts. He's going to, he's raising money to purchase a defibrillator for each of our sites at Lighthouse.
Oh, wonderful.
He's already raised enough for 2 defibrillators. So this spaghetti dinner on Saturday, September 10th, which will be right here in the Groton Shopping Plaza.
And that's what we have here. It's, is this?
Yeah.
Come eat pasta, okay? Come eat pasta,
Right.
everyone.
Right.
It's hard to see on the screen, but yes, come eat pasta dinner at the Lighthouse 46 Plaza Court in Groton, Saturday, September 10th, from 5 to 7 p.m. And all the information on this event, I'm sure, is on your website.
It is. And again, it's to support an Eagle Scout who's also on the spectrum, but he felt it was important to give back to Lighthouse. And so he is, again, we're hoping to sell at least 50 tickets so that he can buy the other 2 defibrillators for our sites, and which is just a wonderful gift to us to have available in our sites.
Yes, well, I encourage, again, all of our viewers out there to remember, come eat pasta. Everybody loves pasta. Come, the pasta dinner at the Lighthouse, again, Saturday, September 10th, 5 to 7 p.m., is supporting a tremendously great cause. So go out, treat yourself to a pasta dinner when you're giving so much back to your community. So
right.
I think that's, and what a great accomplishment for this young person.
I know, it is.
It's tremendous.
He's gone all the way from Cub Scout to Boy Scout to Eagle Scout, and he's just done a tremendous job. Really nice young man.
Well,
so,
that's one success story that I'm sure you have many of, but one that you can talk about today by sharing this upcoming event that shows the great accomplishments that your programs have.
Right, absolutely. I am so proud of the difference we've made in the community of just being involved in the community on a regular basis. So again, everyone are good neighbors, and we know that our students are just as good neighbors as all the businesses that we participate in and help. And so,
well, as I said in my introduction here about community service, community service is very important, and everybody should be encouraged to participate in some way or form in community service to give back. Because when you do that, you make it better for the people around you, but you're also making it a better community for yourself as well.
Right.
And it's a great learning experience.
Absolutely.
When you're interacting with the community and doing something to benefit. It's I know from the work that I do, it gives you a sense of great pride.
It does, absolutely, and it makes such a difference. And there's so many of us in these unsung heroes in our community everywhere that are just get up every day and help out and volunteer and pitch in all the time. And it's and you meet them all the time. Both of us do.
Yes, yes, that's correct.
In every committee we're on, or all the pieces that we do, we're just amazed at how many people are behind the scenes doing all this work.
And to our viewers, speaking as someone that does a lot of this type of work, it's not work. It's usually a great deal of fun. You meet a lot of great people, and you interact with them in such a special way. So it's not work. It's a pleasure going through the process, knowing that you're creating something very special.
Right. It's one of my favorite words, collaboration. I just think that when you meet certain people, the collaborative piece is so important, and how you come together on an idea, and how everybody works at the table to get something done, and in a professional adult manner, and we're doing what we're supposed to. It's very nice, and I love the collaboration. We collaborate with for-profits, nonprofits, anybody that will benefit, our students or community. It's so terribly important.
Please tell us a little bit about some of the other projects that you're working on, because as I said in the introduction, I know that you're a very, very busy person doing a lot of things for your community.
Right. Well, right now I'm very honored to be the president of the Southeastern Connecticut Women's Network, and the Women's Network and Safe Futures were both started in 1976. The Women's Network by Millie Devine, and the Safe Futures by Lois Andrews. And we have partnered with Safe Futures for 40 years just to empower women, to make lives for women and families in Southeastern Connecticut better. But something occurred this year that we found out that I'm on the committee for the Women's Leadership Forum, which is going to be on October 2nd at the Coast Guard. And the reason is, it was 40 years ago also that women cadets first entered the Coast Guard. So they're going to have a keynote speaker and panels all day, a resource fair at the Coast Guard at Leamy Hall. And you can go on a website for Women's Leadership Forum, and the Coast Guard, you can go on the Coast Guard and pull it up too. But it's such a great thing for our region to have all of these organizations celebrating their anniversary at the same time, and empowering women, and what has happened since 1976. So those two are really important to me. And the Women's Network is just an amazing organization to me that, we meet once a month for luncheon, but we work all through the month on finding ways to, again, make women's lives better, empower them professionally, give scholarships to college students. It's just an important network. Again, 40 years of volunteering is amazing for me as a network to see that.
You have a lot to be proud of.
Yeah.
You really do.
Yeah.
And the information on, or if any of our viewers are looking for more information on some of these other aspects of things that you can do, can we invite them to contact you on your
email?
Your email?
Yeah, that would be fine.
So to ask not just about the Lighthouse, but about some of these women's networks and events that you're doing.
Yeah. And the Southeastern Connecticut Women's Network has a website that they can go to for some of this information. But sure, you're welcome to email me, and I can give you more information and link you up with the other things going on.
And certainly, I'm sure if they put in a Google search engine, they'll come up with other ways of finding that information and contacting you.
Right. Yeah.
That's terrific.
And of course, I'm involved with Art on Groton Bank and things that we've done here in Groton, and the Groton Fall Festival. Every year we've been there.
Oh, are you involved with the?
Oh well, I'm not on a committee, but we're always a vendor there because I think it's an important part. Well, Groton has been very good to us at Lighthouse as far as being neighbors and good, and I always feel that you should be giving back to the community that's helped you or helped your, students or been good neighbors. And so it's important for us to be part of those things.
Well, yes, you're absolutely correct. And again, as someone who's produced some of these community events, I feel as well, it's very, very important when you're asking your community to support you, either by volunteering or by helping you financially as a sponsorship. You need to show that appreciation by giving back.
Right.
It's very important when you're looking to do this community service. You can't just be a taker.
No,
absolutely. You have to give back as much as you get in.
No.
And then you have that great two-way street where everybody is benefiting for these projects that you're involved with.
Right. I don't know who said the quote is, you can never, unless you have full commitment in your life, you will never be successful in relationships or business or anything that you undertake unless there's a full commitment you make to whatever you're doing, whatever you're serving. So I think that's constant in my life or any of the things we do at Lighthouse.
Yeah, well, it's an old adage my grandmother used to say, but I learned it early, and I remind myself of it all the time, is if anything is worth doing at all, it's worth doing it right.
Yeah.
And all aspects of life.
Right.
And it's so simple. If you're going to take the energy to do something, it doesn't take any more energy, really, to do it right.
No, absolutely.
And with that community service especially, you just, so many people benefit.
Absolutely.
In so many different ways.
Absolutely. And I just think, again, if there wasn't all this community service, so many things wouldn't be available to us in our lives. These volunteers in our communities, again, supply the things that we need to have in our communities to support, help with businesses or whatever else is going on. But
yeah. Now, in addition to the Come Eat Pasta Night, I'll remember everybody again, September 10th. I imagine you have other ongoing events for all these projects that we're talking about, including the Lighthouse, throughout the year?
Well, yeah, one that's really important, it's in its 11th year. We started an autism education conference 11 years ago for our region because in Southeastern Connecticut there was nothing available for educators and families. We had to travel to other parts of the states to find any information. So for 11 years we brought top-notch speakers in every year. And it's the first Friday in May. May 5th will be our conference. We have it at Langley's in Waterford at the Country Club. And we've had Jed Baker there as speakers. We've had quite a few other people around the country that are well known for their information about people on the autism spectrum. We try to bring up information that teachers will need that's coming up. This year it will be about transitions because it's a hard topic to figure out how to make this all work for the young person on the spectrum to get as they move out of high school. So that'll be about transition. That's an important conference that we're very proud of every year. We also do a nice collaborative fundraiser with Riverfront Children's Center and Emerson Theater Collaborative and Higher Edge in New London. And the four of us 2 years ago decided that we would form a collaborative fundraiser at the bowling alley. So end of March, beginning of April, we will have, again, on a Sunday afternoon, our four groups will come together and provide a bowl-a-thon to raise money, and we split it 4 ways.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Well,
It's
it is.
terrific.
It's absolutely, it's great. And the thing is, each of us have our own special ways of how we take our own piece of the puzzle that we can fit in and do the right thing for the bowl-a-thon. And it's been very nice. The other 3 organizations are just really pleasant to work with, and we all have the same goals of raising money because we all work with children of different abilities. So that's important in the spring, and those will all be on our website.
I was just going to
all
say,
the
I'm
information.
sure if people keep checking back to that website
Yeah.
that we have on the screen, that those calendar of events will continue to be updated.
Right.
All these great events.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
And I know the all-important word, sponsorship, money. You can't be any different from some of these organizations than anyone else, and needing financing and such. Is there programs that our viewers should know to help?
well, the Department of Developmental Service took the largest cuts in the budget cuts. This is for children and adults with disabilities. So the resources are limited for a lot of families. Again, we have a program. I want to let families know that we just got a grant from the Community Foundation for a 3-year respite program where we could provide respite on twice a month on Saturdays. And that will be on our website. I'd like people to look at it if it's something they could use. But as far as resources, we're always looking for donations. We're always looking for iPads, tablets would be very important because we have to keep, you can't refurbish them. So you have to have new ones all the time. So that would be great if we get donations of those.
All right. Well, again, everyone, please remember donations. Go to that website. If you have a tablet, if you have any way or any question that you need, please contact Kathy and give. So Kathy, I want to thank you so much for being my guest today on Around the Town with Mark.
This went so quickly. It was so nice.
It goes fast, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you've been a wonderful guest, and I thank you so much for sharing about the Lighthouse and the other community service things that you do. I'll remind all of our visitors about Come Eat Pasta, the dinner here in Groton, September 10th at 5 to 7 p.m. It's a great support for the Lighthouse Foundation. On September 22nd, on Thursday, here at SEC TV Studios, it's free and open to everyone. There will be an open house art show, and there'll be wine and cheese. Everybody's invited. Come see what it looks like in this beautiful studio. I want to thank you all for tuning in again to Around the Town with Mark. As I said, we're always glad to have you visit with us. We're going to have another great show for you very soon. Thank you for tuning in. Please remember the Lighthouse Campus. Support our community. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.